Hey guys. So in modern society, we tend to have a real dearth of hip extension, which is important for healthy walking and running and all that kind of stuff. And the main reason is that we tend to always have our hips or our thighs in front of us all the time in chair positions. I mean, we spend so much of the frequency of our life in chairs that these front hip flexor muscles have kind of lost their range of motion to extend. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because people go to classes, for example, and they go to yoga classes or any other sort of movement and mobility class, and we do a lot of lunges, for example. And one of the main reasons to do a lunge is to work on that hip extension, to get a good stretch of the leg that's behind you. But here's my question. In the realm of looking at what parts are we actually moving? Do we know what we're actually stretching? Is it really a hip extension? So if I were to take my foot and step forward, and then a lot of times what you see is this, is people, I'm going to do a lunge, and I'm going to go as far forward as I can. In bigger, extremer circumstances, like yoga classes, people might be doing this kind of thing. Here's the question though, am I really extending my hip? Right now, what I can analyze this as is mostly extension of my spine. My ribs are kind of pushed way forward in front of my hips. And what has happened here in the pelvis is, if you think of the pelvis as being in one line, so like, let's say my fist is my pelvis and this is my leg, I would like my pelvis to be steady and my leg to go backwards. But what I tend to do as I shift forward this way is I've actually just tilted everything this way, kind of like that. So my pelvis is tilted forward, so there's not really that much extension going on in my hip flexors here. So to do a makeover of this pose, of this stretch, you have to align your pelvis, let your pelvis stabilize so that it is not the moving part. You want to tuck your pelvis here, for a little more emphasis on the stretch in the thigh, and even let your ribs drop down. Now here's the game. See if you can keep your hips and ribs completely vertical so that my chest doesn't end up in front of my hips. And then once you find that, then shift a little bit forward. And I've found right now, like I'm already experiencing a lot of tension through the front of the thigh. If I were to let my belly and my hips go and my pelvis go to tilt forward, I've totally lost the stretch. The stretch really is here. So that's the thigh extending backward without bringing it up into the articulation of the spine. And if I want to work on hip extension, I'm going to have to do that. You have to stabilize the part that you want to be stable. You want to move the part that you want to move. Very simple, right? So this is another way to rethink your lunges. And this applies to so many movements that we do. So we'll keep exploring. I'll see you next time.